Hi, we're back in Savage Lands again today, and what we're going to be doing is taking on the 4 Forest Giants. So where we are is we've just finished picking up a set of Devourer gear, and for our other set of armor, we've also got a set of Spirit gear here. So up to now I was using a Crystalline helmet, but I switched that out for Mithras because the Mithras gear has slightly higher damage reduction than the Crystalline. So what we're going to be doing is that if we need warmth protection, we'll be using the Devourer gear anyway. And the crystalline gear gives slightly higher warmth protection and also slightly lower encumbrance than the Mithras gear. But the thing is, we don't need any of that from our spirit gear because we've got all of that warmth protection and lower encumbrance from our Devourer gear now. So we can just go for maximum protection here. So we're going to go full Mithras on 3 of the Forest Giants, and then for Grot, who hands out cold damage, and Osira, we're going to be using this set. For weapons, we're going to be using a couple of Frostborns, which are especially useful versus Grot because they also give cold protection. So we're going to wait for morning, and we're going to get to it, and first one's going to be Ket, and we'll see you then. And here we are at daybreak. So we're starting at the third island portal, and what we're going to be doing is heading up beach on the left here. So for traveling, we're going to be using our Devourer gear and Frostborns. So let's go. So we're heading towards Ket. So we're going to take out Ket first and then move on to Eldar after that. So for Ket, we just need to head along the beach as we just did until we see this rock here. Now Ket is going to be tucked into the bushes right there somewhere. Now, one thing about these swords, Frostborn, it says cuts bushes, but if you see that it doesn't actually cut bushes. Now, a lot of swords, what happens is if you get caught up in the bushes with a forest giant, you're wailing away at them and you're hitting the bushes instead of the frost giant. But with these, because they don't hit bushes, it means that we can actually just wade in here, and if we get tied up in the bushes, it's not a problem. So what we're going to do is we're going to put on our Mithras gear because that's got slightly higher protection than the Devourer. And we're just going to wade in. We're going to probably have to use about 5 or 6 bandages because every time he hits us, he's going to do about maybe a quarter to a third of health damage. So we're going to have to try and keep up with that with hotkeying bandages. So let's go. Yeah, it's about a third damage, so every second hit we're going to have to hotkey a bandage. So that's Ket down. And notice that you've got these night bloom flowers sitting around here. Each forest giant has 3. So as far as drops, he's got a couple more night bloom flowers, which we're going to need for Hearts of Tarvas. A couple of these he's got Everwood, which we're going to need for our Dragon Forge. Now, we need this room to open up the gate into the 3rd island, and this is one of the ingredients into the Hearts of Tarvas that we're going to need to fight Kerr later on. So that's Ket. So let's loot him and move on to Eldar. So Eldar, what we're going to do is we're going to start from the portal between the 1st and the 2nd island here, and we're going to head up the beach to the right here, which is the same direction we went previously when we were going to the Devourer. So past the bridge here, portal there. And then just like on the way to the Devourer, you come to this rock here. Look to your right and you can see the portal that gets you to where we got our early iron when we first arrived on the second island. So you head up in this direction here, and you're going to see a ruined hut or ruined house almost immediately, which is right there. So about here you get the message Eldar senses your presence. You just need to go straight, and he's right there. So again, Eldar is kind of surrounded by some bushes and would... I'd normally just draw him out into the open where there weren't any bushes, but seeing as these swords don't seem to be hindered by any bushes, I'm just going to wade in. Now I was using the Devourer for travel, but we're going to go into Mithras again. So he's going to do the same as before, about a quarter to a third damage, and it's just a case of hotkeying bandages. Let's get to it. So he missed with his first hit, which is handy. So that's about, yeah, it's somewhere between a quarter and a third damage, which is a definite hotkey of a bandage, I think. So it's hotkeying the bandage every second hit. Can't really see him there, so I'm just going to get him out into the open here. Because that's what happens normally if you've got swords that hit the bushes. You get into that sort of situation, and you're hitting bushes instead of him. And that's Eldar down. So Eldar drops the enchanted branch. You need this to fix up the Wolfbane later. So there's another Everwood. That's the rune that we need for the opening up the gate to the third island, and the soul that we need to make Heart of Tarvas later. So let's move on to Thum. So Thum, I'm going to start from outside the portal between the first and the second island again, and we're going to head up the coast here, which is the way we would normally head towards our base. So normally we would head to the portal, which is right there, go to our base, but if you go up to these fences here, we're going to head up to the coast on our right instead. And where we're headed is that big clump of rocks that you can just see on our left-hand side there. So this is actually an entrance right there to the dungeon where Yingol, Hellion, etc. are. So if you go in the opposite direction from here, see that clearing there? There's a farm right there. So I would normally repair this and then put fencing up, so just get safe area here. But we're not going to do that today. So Thum, if we just keep going through the farm here, You can't see Thum because he's a spirit enemy, so what we have to do is make sure that we are wearing spirit armor again. Now he's going to have some guards as well. There are about 6 of these guys hanging around. So you might want to take care of them just so that we don't get disturbed while we're fighting the forest giant. But coming out of the farm, which was right there. So we came from the coast, just going straight. You can start to see some kind of sparkly things there, which is Thum, but as you get closer, he appears. So he's invisible from a little ways out. You just go straight past that farm and you'll find him. So there's normally 6 of those guys hanging around. We're about 6. Can't see any more at the moment, so let's just wait in. So he's going to do about a third or maybe a quarter third damage again. So again, hotkeying every second hit. And that's Thum down. So as far as drops, soul remnants, summoning orb, there's our Everwood we need for our Dragon Forge, the Rune of Souls, and Soul of Thum. Alright, so back to base, and I'll see you when we get there, and then we'll go for, just make sure we pick all these up, and then we'll go for Grot. Okay, so we're back at our base, and now we can go for Grot, who's in Osira. So we're going to have to head back to Osira, which is this direction. We go across the ice. Now, we went to Osira before, where we killed Drug the Wicked, and that's where we got these 2 swords from. But if you're going back there, Drug is in the, I think it's pronounced Drog. He's in the second part of Osira, and Grot is in the third part. Between the second and third part, there's a portal, and you need the Rune of Deception that Drog dropped, and also 8 fragments of living ice to open that portal. Now, I've been there before, so I've already done that. I've got additional runes because we had to kill Drog 3 times to get these swords. And as far as fragments of living ice, you can get a bunch of those. I think Drog dropped 2 each time, but also any skeletons lying around on the ground also drop the fragments. Plus, if you kill any enemies in Osira, they also drop them. Sometimes, not always. So we come away from our base here and we just head up to Osira, same as we did before with Drog. Up to this gap in the rocks like we did before. And into the first part of Osira. So I've already hit the skeletons on the ground, but if you come here for the first time, you see a bunch of skeletons lying around. Some of those give you a couple of fragments of living ice, so you should have plenty by the time you get to this stage. Or certainly 8 or more, which is what you need to open up the portal. So that was the first section of Osira where we don't have any enemies. This is the section where we met Drog before. So we had to go up to that rock there on the right hand side to get him to spawn in. So what we want to do is just run along here, keeping the ice wall on our right hand side, and we'll get to the portal. And portal is right there. As mentioned, this first time you come here, it needs the Rune of Deception and 8 fragments of living ice, but we've already opened it, so we can just go straight in. Now you want to turn left. You've got the message here in the bottom left. Grot senses your presence. Now you can get mobbed by enemies in this place. You can see them over there, all the elementals. So what I'm going to do is just hit him with an arrow. I think he's about there. Yep. Just get him to come over here. I want to fight him outside the portal. That way if we do get into trouble, or if we do get mobbed by a bunch of other things, we can just pop through the portal to get safe. So for now, we just need him to come over. And hopefully for those elementals to stay where they are. Don't stop. So Grot hands out cold protection, so he's the one where we do need to be, or want to be, wearing the Devourer armor. But also these swords, which also provide cold protection, are going to help us. So the swords and the armor should protect us from his cold damage. He's still going to do some other damage though. So we're probably going to have the hotkey advantage at some point. But the cold damage he hands out isn't going to be the issue, I don't think. Let's get to it. So he missed for this first hit, which is nice again. As you can see, he goes down much faster than the other two as well. So you can see the cold damage in the bottom right there. The swords are dealing with it. Looks like he missed a couple of hits there. We didn't even have to heal up. So that's Grot then. Now he also drops this Rune of Frost here, which opens the portal. There's another portal which gets you to Rylock the Destroyer. So to get to that portal you have to head off in that direction, but we're about to get mobbed here. Now one thing you want to do every time you come here, because fragments of living ice are needed to repair Soulstorm, we're going to be using Soulstorm later when we get to Kerr. You want to come over to this guy. Now if these guys are chasing you, you are actually safe up here. They can't get you. Because you can normally get between 6 and 9 of these fragments of living ice off these guys. So for example, you can mine it in two places. One is here and one is here. And if you mine to exhaustion there, you'll get between 6 and 9 fragments of living ice. So anyway, hopefully that was helpful with the forest giants, and now we can go and open the portal into the third island. The next thing we can do is go on a gold and silver run and look to get silver weapons, and also enough silver to make silver armor so that we can then start attacking Grinfells. That gives us the draconic essence, and then we can get the dragon forge in place and gold armor, etc., and gold weapons. Anyway, hopefully that's helpful. Thanks a lot for watching.